It's October, and you know what that means. No, I meant something else. But I guess I can use one after eternity in the wasteland. Thankfully, the space station has everything. What is this? Vivi's beauty salon? I meant it's Halloween. Well, it's Halloween, so let's move to somewhere more fitting. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, Halloween, the month of monsters, ghosts and spooks. That was weird. Nothing could be better for this than a game I have not finished as a child, because it was too scary for me. Braindead 13, lovely name. I got it in a video game magazine at the time I was 12. I started it, watched the great intro, and got immediately torn apart by a guy sticking hooks in my eyes. So I erased the game and never played it again. Nowadays, if I look back at it, I was a dumb kid. Our game today is something special. It is in the same genre as Don Blue's Dragon's Lair and Space Ace. You know, these fully animated cartoon games where everything you do is a QuickTime event. Well, let's talk about the story. You play as Lance Galahad, a nerd hired for a routine repair job in an old castle. Your job is to fix the computer of the mad scientist Dr. Nero Neurosis.
Dr. Nero Neurosis!
Who is a brain in a jar? Well, because Lance is a nerd, he knows about his plans to conquer the world.
You ain't one of those mad, disembodied scientist guys bent on taking over the world, are you?
Of course!
And that's how cliché and average this is.
And I know, an average.
Angered by this, and because he don't want to pay the $25 for the repair, he sends his henchman Fritz after you. Fritz is... well, he is special. He has hooks for hands, is a psychopath, and has a large arsenal of weapons. But he is unbelievable stupid. After you outsmarted him in the intro, you are chased by him through the rather large castle. So, you now have to find a way to stop the Doctor from taking over the world and escape with your life. On your way, you have to survive all kinds of horror creatures like zombies, ghosts, puppets, witches, a Frankenstein monster with the brain of a mindless Jock, and even a living hedge maze, to end up at the showdown against Fritz and the Doctor. Strange, but it's perfect for Halloween. How does it play? The gameplay is unbelievably simple. You have up, down, left and right, and also an action button. That's it. The gameplay consists of you watching a really well made cartoon and using these 5 keys at certain points to choose your direction, avoid attacks, or simply do stuff. Unlike Dragon's Lair and Space Ace, this game isn't linear. You have multiple intersections where you can freely explore new segments of the castle. And if you stand still just for a moment, Fritz will catch you and will make your day significantly worse. This is the part where I stopped playing this game as a child. I watched the intro, went to the first intersection, didn't know what to do yet, and was surprised by one of the worst death scenes I have seen until this point in time. There is a simple reason why this game isn't as well known as Dragon's Lair and Space Ace. Well, in those games you see the buttons you have to press, and even more important, the buttons you press actually make sense. If you want to go left, you press left. If you want to duck, you press down in those games. Easy and intuitive, right? Well, in this game, sometimes the actions don't make any sense. There are different rooms in this game where you have to duck to avoid dying. Seems easy, I just press down. There are rooms where you have to hit the action button to duck. There is even a scene where you have to hit up to duck. You have to hit up to duck. What in the fuck were they thinking? You don't immediately die if you hit the wrong command, but you don't have any indication of what and when you should press anything. This is a huge problem. Even if you press the correct button, but your timing is a bit off, you will not know you were nearly there. So it's even way more trial and error than the more known games of this genre. There is an iOS version of this game, which fixes the biggest problems of not having any indicator, which makes this game much easier and way better. Each time you get a well-made, but oftentimes incredible brutal death scene, you will respawn in a way resembling the dead. As here, after you got incinerated, you jump out of flames. That's a neat little detail. And you have unlimited continues. This game was never made as a money sink in arcades, so that is something good. Okay, so let us take a look at the levels. Like I said, this game isn't linear. You have an insane amount of different ways through this castle, which means you kinda have to map your way out in your mind as you are playing, or else you could end up running in giant circles. So, instead of showing every room in this game, I will focus on the main areas. You have to beat 5 segments before you can enter an elevator, which brings you to the finale. Let us start with Vivi's beauty salon. While escaping from Fritz, you end up in a funeral saloon run by a sexy vampire with a southern accent.
Huh?
Hey, sugar. Glad you could drop in. I'm Vivi, and welcome to Vivi's funeral salon.
Here you have to survive a manicure, where you have to react fast enough to not lose your hand.
Oh, did I do that?
A shave with a rather unprofessional tool for the job. And
Facial.
oh my, Miss Vivi, you're trying to seduce me. Oh, you meant this kind of facial. Of course, this is a kid's game after all, remember? Or she just kills you by drinking your blood if you don't answer her. The next area is a huge labyrinth, where everything wants to kill you. From frogs, to mushrooms, to the freaking walls itself. Your goal here is a gigantic statue in the middle, surrounded by a lake of acid. You have to climb on it to destroy a glowy spot on his head. Sounds kinda familiar. Nah, that's just a coincidence. Afterwards, you will end up in the lair of a witch. It starts with a cat, and the reason why I myself am more of a dog person. Cats are scary, especially animated black cats. Maybe this is just foreshadowing. You not only have to escape, but you have to distract the witch to collect an eyeball from the point she started. You will absolutely need the eyeball to beat the game. The next mini-boss is a Frankenstein's monster with the brains of a jock.
Alright, Squirt. Third down, bases are loaded, and we're pulling the goalie.
He will attack you with a baseball bat. Will tackle you or just give you the meanest wedgie in video game history. And he isn't alone. Fritz is also there trying to kill you. You can defeat him in a manner fitting for a Frankenstein's monster. The last mini-boss you have to defeat is... wait, another witch? Are they serious? This is just like the first one but mirrored. That is just plain lazy. Anyway, you have to collect a second eyeball here, and now you can go to an intersection with a new path. An elevator brings you to the bottom of a giant stairway. Witz is waiting at the top to kill you with his arsenal. Comic Relief will save the day. Now, you just have to climb to the top by using the different weapons Fritz has left for you to defend yourself against him. After you have reached the door at the top, you face off with Dr. Neurosis, where you use the stupidity of Fritz to your advantage.
Hey! Time to punch out.
And make him quit with the bowler made out of the 2 eyeballs.
Hey, guys! Game's over.
All left to do is to flush them both down the toilet and leave the castle. That was strange.
Oh, cool. Back to work.
Okay, this game had flaws. Many disgusting flaws in fact. But I have to say, I kinda liked it. Even if I have stopped playing it as a kid. If they would have made the inputs reasonable and even showed them on the screen, this game could have been a classic like Space Ace and the granddaddy of them all, Dragon Slayer. I recommend the iOS version, which made it a lot better by fixing some of the biggest problems, and it's even rather cheap, it's around $5. Or just watch a playthrough on YouTube and pretend it's a cartoon. This game was more like a brutal animated movie to begin with. You know what? After all of this, I am in the mood for a movie. Maybe even an animated one. I mean, it's still Halloween. Thank you so much for watching. If I made you smile, you can help me out by liking and sharing this video. What is your opinion about this game? Leave a comment. If you want to get informed about my next video, why not subscribe? It would mean a lot to me.